Ladies and gentlemen, hello again, Big Mike here. Yeah, haven't done a video in a while, for which I would like to apologize. Just been going through a number of things. And anyway, so now I'm back, this time around with Explain 11 and flying this wonderful IXEG 737. Just got it a few days ago actually, just did a handful of flights with it, and it's a pure joy to fly. We are, at the moment, we are in Paderborn, and we are going to do a short flight over to Berlin Tegel. So yeah, so this is not a real route, this is a fictitious route. Lufthansa doesn't fly from Paderborn to Berlin, and also Lufthansa, in the meantime, they have already scrapped all of their 737s, which is a real shame, but that's not going to be a problem for us, because here we are with that wonderful 737, and I have to say it's a real joy to fly this airplane. So without further ado, let's hop into the cockpit. Alright, so here we are in the cockpit. Everything has been set up, we got the fuel. All I need to do now is just basically program the FMS. So let's just hop on over. So, positionalization, we are in Paderborn. Actually, this step is not necessary because the IRSs are aligned. However, if you do that, you go over to the routes page, and then it'll automatically fill in the scratchpad for me with the correct airport, and I can just punch that into the origin. And our destination is Tegel, and our flight number for today will be 2 Yankee Foxtrot. And yeah, as opposed to my previous videos, we won't be I won't be flying online. I'll be flying offline because I'm still trying to get the grips with Explain and also this aircraft. And also, I just want to put out there, I by no means I'm no authority figure on this aircraft. I'm just basically, this is just all based on various things that I picked up over the years and read in manuals and so on. So yeah, so you'll probably see me do the one or the other mistake, but whatever. Just doing my best out here. So anyway, so our first point is Valborg, and then from Valborg it's the Zulu 21, and wait, this needs to be on. Forgot that in my startup flows. And then it's to Oscat, and then from there it's the Tango 200, and then from there it's to Rudak. And just to speed things up, I'm going to be cutting a couple of corners here, so just execute that straight off. And let me just check the winds in Paderborn, see what runway we'll be going out of. Okay, so the wind's 230 at 3 knots, so we'll be going out of runway 24 via the Warburg 9 Whiskey departure. And for the arrival, the weather in Tegel also blowing out of the west, so it's going to be ILS 26 right. And it's going to be the Rudak 5 Victor arrival, and the Klasdorf 26 right RNAV transition. So let's just execute that, head on to the Lex page, and now let's just scroll through the plan. So let's just step through, just make sure everything connects up nicely. There should be a... there we go. That's what I was expecting. Need to hook these two up here. And there we go. And there's that RNAV transition, which is typical for major German airports, actually. So, anyway. Let's just go on to the init reference page. and put that back into arc mode. And let's just go over here. And let's just put in the zero fuel weight. So the zero fuel weight is 41.6. Okay, let me just check the gross weight. Yep, that matches up. And reserves, let me just do a few mental gymnastics over here. So that's 2, 2.1, 2.3. Correction, 2.2. And we will be cruising at flight level 230. There's always a slight delay for some reason when you punch in the figures. Okay, and the cruising winds are 179er at 21. And okay, the cruising speed, the cruising level temperature is -30. Okay, so that's according to ISA. That's fine. Okay, so I can execute that. And let me just scroll through these pages, just make sure that everything makes sense. Yep, that all checks out. And the descent page, we'll take a look at that, closer look at that once we get closer to our destination. So, okay, the second FMS, I'm just going to throw that into progress page. Okay, so let's just go on over to the overhead panel, because we also got to do a few things over here. So we need to set up our cabin pressurization panel over here. So we are cruising at flight level 230. So that is that, and the elevation in Paderborn is about 700 feet. So I'm just going to dial that in as a landing altitude, just in case we have to come back. Everything will be set up accordingly. Yeah, so that's 700 feet. And here, the cabin altitude, this is basically for the standby cabin pressure system. I need to basically go down here, this chart, at the bottom line I can see the flight levels, so I'm looking for flight level 230. And that corresponds to a cabin altitude of 2,400, so just going to go ahead and dial in that. Under normal circumstances, that won't come into play. It's just if the cabin pressurization computer malfunctions and I have to operate that in standby mode. At least here I can dictate what cabin altitude I need it in. So that is all set. Okay, let's just hop on back down here. And so let me just get the weather for Paderborn. So winds 230 at 3 knots, QNH 1024. That's already okay, wait, let me just, there we go. Yeah, that's already set once, and set that on the standby as well. And it's also set on the first officer's side. Okay, just match up that altimeter bug over there. The reason why I do that is that in case of engine failure, acceleration altitude is 1,000 feet AGL. So basically, once that altimeter loops around that once, that's basically 1,000 feet. So that's just a visual marker for myself. And oh, look at that! Someone taxiing along. So let me turn on the flight directors and auto brakes and RTO. And okay, the departure procedure dictates initial climb 5,000 feet, but since we're not flying with ATC, I'm just going to go ahead and put that to our cruising level 230. And since we're departing out of runway 24, initial heading is 234. Okay, that already is set. So now all I need to do is just get the V speeds. So let me just do that. Okay, so we are departing out of Paderborn, out of runway 24. The winds, what did I say they were? 230 at 3 knots. Outside air temperature 13 degrees, and a QNH of 1024, and my takeoff weight is 47,371. We're actually quite light today. Alright, flaps 5, air conditioning on, anti-ice off. That works for me. Alright, so flex temperatures, correct selected temperature 60, 122, 129, 135. Okay, let me just punch that in. So, 60. And so we have 122, 129, 135. Okay, so that is in. And okay, that's already set to 135. Need to set that to V2 speed. And yeah, normally I would also set the speed bugs over here, but I'm just going to forego that step. Don't want to overcomplicate things. Alright, so, and we have a CG of, wait, what did it say over here? We have a CG of, okay, wait, I'm just going to move that a bit more aft to 22. So that gives me 3.4 units. That already matches up with the FMS, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that in. So it's right now at 4. There, right about there. That should do the trick. Okay. So let me just one last scan around the panel, just make sure everything is okay. Set that to that. Okay. So. Okay, I guess it's time to... that's funny. American Airlines 737-800 here in Paderborn. Yeah, right. Okay, so let's start up the APU. And in the meantime, I will do the departure briefing. So we are a Boeing 737-300 departing out of Paderborn, runway 24 via the Walburg 9 Whiskey departure at 4.9 DME Paderborn, left turn, intercept radial 269er Walburg, then straight to Walburg, initial climb 5,000 feet, but we will forego that. We're going to climb straight to 23,000. In case of engine failure, continue straight ahead, climb to 4,000 feet, then left turn back to Paderborn, then just vector ourselves back for the ILS 24. Landing weight is not an issue as we're very light. And in case of a rejected takeoff, below 80 knots, abort for any malfunctions below V1, abort for engine fire failure or aircraft is uncontrollable. Actions are I called stop, throttles idle, speed brake extend, max reverse come to a full stop, set parking brake, identify, and adopt the appropriate procedure. And depending on that, we will either evacuate on the runway or taxi back to stand. That is basically briefing complete as far as I'm concerned. Right, so. Okay, so APU's on, so this APU on bus. Just gotta love that sound. Okay, and we'll wait a minute just before I turn on APU bleed just to clear out any exhaust gases from the air vents and ducts. But in the meantime, what I can do is just already go through the first checklist. So, cockpit, check, reduce, checklist. Gear pins, remove. Pitot-static, checked. Circuit breakers, checked. Fuel, 6,000 kilograms, pumps on. Cabin signs. Forgot about that. On. Window heat, on. Hydraulics, normal. Cabin control, set. Ground. Instruments, 1999er. Altimeters, 1024, 730. Auto brakes, RTO, FMC, set. Speed brake, down detent, radios, set. Cockpit, check, reduce, checklist complete. So, now the APU bleed should be okay. So, just turn that on. Get the ventilation going. Okay, so let me just take a look there. Alright, so let's start her up and off we go. Okay, and for whatever reason the AI aircraft are taking off in the opposite direction, but I'm just going to ignore them. I'm just going to take off as per the wind, because I don't know what they're doing, to be honest with you. Still learning the kinks of X-Plane and so on, because I come from a Microsoft Flight Simulator background, so I've been using that now for almost 20 years now, so this is still quite a bit of a learning curve for me. So anyway, let's turn anti-collision light on, PAX off, and let's go through the before start checklist. So before start checklist: PAX off, start pressure 45 psi, anti-collision light on, TESS RTO, parking brake set, mobile off, before start checklist complete. So number 2, engine start. First clear the master caution. So there we go. What we're waiting for is 25% N2 and also N1 rotation. Only after that do I introduce fuel to the start procedure. Otherwise, if we don't have N1 rotation, that could be there's a high likelihood of a hot start, and we don't want that. So there we go. We have ignition, EGT is rising, and everything is spooling up. Yep, starter cutout. And we just wait for it to stabilize for a second, and then we can start the second one. And yeah, right about now. So reset the clock. Okay, number 1 engine start. Okay. Starter cutout. Okay. I am not too sure about these oil pressures. I've had a similar situation a few flights ago, and I don't know how to fix that. It just pops up every now and then, but for now we're just going to go ahead with the flight, see what happens. Who knows, maybe you guys will be in for an engine failure, but last flight I did worked out fine. So anyway, after short items, flaps 1, correction, flaps 5. Something wrong with the air conditioning. Let's take a look at that. Okay, packs are auto. The isolation valve is in auto. Okay. You know what? Let me just reset that. Standby mode. And back to auto. Does that fix that? No. Let me just do the flight control check real quick. So, okay, rudder. All right, so let's take a look. What's going on? Something is wrong with the pressurization panel. Okay, now I can hear airflow after resetting the packs, and there we go. Yep, that fixed the problem. Okay, so I just had to reset the packs. Alright, so, after start checklist, electric, set, pitot heat, on, anti-ice, off, cabin control, set, flight, engine start switches, continuous, APU, off, rating speedbucks, 20K, 122, 129er, 135. Engine start levers. Idle detent. Recall checked. After start checklist complete. Taxi. So, as I said, we are going to ignore the AI traffic, and we're just gonna take off the way we want to. So. Okay, so now just look with an immediate right turn. Oh, just let it build up a bit more speed. Yeah, I'm probably gonna, my wing is probably gonna hit that. In reality, they move those gates away a bit further because this is a nose-out parking position. They don't do pushbacks on those. So. Okay. So, here we go. Okay, the engine pressure on the left engine has risen a little bit, and also on the right one. I mean, I had a similar situation on a previous flight, and I had looked that up in the QRH, and there it said, basically, when you just before you apply takeoff thrust, so essentially, when you stabilize the engines at 40% N1, they should be in the green band. Otherwise, do not take off. So, I mean, we're going to see how that goes. Not either way. So, taxi checklist, flight controls checked, flaps 5, green light, trim 3.400, cabin report received, taxi checklist complete. Okay, let me just slow down a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to turn on the strobes already. Okay, the inboard landing lights are already on. And as I said, I'm just going to ignore any AI traffic. We're just going to taxi straight onto the runway. Okay, so... Okay, one last check. Is everything okay? Yep. So... takeoff. Yeah, engine oil is rising. It's okay, we can do the takeoff. Take up power set. Oh, and there's someone coming in for landing. This should be good. 80 knots. Oh, he's going around. Go. Rotate. Gear up. Okay, 400 LNAV. flaps 1. Okay, that flight director is a bit twitchy today. And flaps up. No, no. Okay, and VNAV. And autopilot on. This is a bit twitchy here. There we go. Yep, that scenery looks quite... Yeah, the vegetation looks quite like it used to when I used to live there. I forgot to mention that I used to live in Paderborn for about, what was that, 2 years, something like that? Yeah, so, yeah, it looks quite similar. Okay, altimeters. Okay, so let's just zoom out here a little bit, and then we'll do the after takeoff checklist in just a second. Okay, so after takeoff checklist. Altimeter standard 7.2. Engine bleeds on. PAX auto. Gear up and off. Flaps up. No lights out. After takeoff checklist complete. Alright, and there we go. Let's go for some wing views. Yeah, that looks just about right. Now there's Paderborn Airport right there. Yeah, that looks just about right. Alright, let's just hop back into the cockpit. There we go, flight level 100. So, landing lights off, turn remote lights off. I should have turned this off for the takeoff, but I forgot. Please go here. And our cabin pressure is building up nicely. Okay. And I'll go here into the progress page. So there's our top of climb coming up. Let me just zoom out a little bit. And center the heading bug. There we go, and now it's smooth sailing. Okay, don't need the chronometer, I only need the elapsed time. Alright, this is coming together nicely, and yeah, engine oil pressure is in the green for takeoff, so that means, yeah, that was the last check which I did, stabilizing it at 40% N1, and then see what the oil pressure says. So in this, So this time around we got lucky, but either way, probably an engineer should probably take a look at it once we land. Yeah, so I mean, as I've been saying, I'm relatively new to X-Plane. I've only had it since a couple of days, and especially this 737, just bought it like a few days ago. And gotta say, really, just I love this machine. I mean, it had what I really like about the 737 Classic. It's got this very nice hybrid mix of old school and new school technology. So it's like, yeah, okay, you got digital primary instruments and some, but then here you got those old, you know, steam gauge engine displays. So I really like that mix. And also, it's also nice to have, you know, like a change of scenery as compared to the Airbus A320, which I usually fly. Because, you know, it's like this aircraft is just a tiny bit more labor intensive. There are a few things that you need to look out for, like as I mentioned just earlier on with that cabin control settings up there. And yeah, no, it's just overall a very nice aircraft, and it's a real joy to fly. So yeah, I think I can already see our top of descent coming up right there. So it's all coming together nicely. Okay, 2,000 to go. And I'm just enjoying the scenery out here. I mean, this just looks gorgeous. What a lovely day to fly. Yeah, as I was saying just before, again, I am no expert on this aircraft. I mean, you can see old videos of me back in my flight training days that I flew the 737 simulator during my MCC training course, and I mean, that by no means is it's not a type rating or anything. It's just basically just learning how to fly in a multi-crew environment. So, and it's just basically stuff that I picked up from there, which I still remember because this is now about 7 years ago when I flew on that aircraft. So yeah. So I'm probably making mistakes left, right, and center, but I mean, bottom line is I'm just here to have fun, and yeah. But it's a real shame that Lufthansa got rid of the 737 Classics. I really love those airplanes. Okay, so top of descent in about 120 miles. So what I'm going to do is just whip out my OFP again. For those of you who are wondering what OFP is, that's Operational Flight Plan. So that's my computer flight plan. Yeah, so let me just program in the descent winds. So I am going to, okay, let me just go down to the FMC. So I am going to use, okay, 170, I'm sorry, 17,000, have to put that in like that. 13,000 and 8,000. Okay, and the winds there are 162 at 20 knots, 176 at 10 knots, and 295. Oh, okay. It's a complete reversal of the winds, almost. At 7. And the transition level, let me just take a look at the QNH over there. That's 1023, so it should be about 6,000. Okay, and execute. Execute. There we go. And I would also include the ISO deviation in the QNH, but for some reason that is not modeled, or whenever I try to put something in, nothing happens, so I'm just going to ignore that. And let's just go to this page, and let's just look up again, just look at the cockpit. No, whoops, first officer side. Oh, what a gorgeous day to go flying. Let's go back to the cabin. Nice. Just awesome. Okay. Okay, so it's now pretty much smooth sailing until our top of descent. Oh, seems like there's someone flying up there. I think those are contrails. Or maybe the more sinister chemtrails. Oh well. So, top of descent in about 100 miles. I'm just going to pull out the charts already here. Just prepare myself. Okay, so now I'm just going to go to the overhead panel real quick, and I'm going to put in the landing elevation in Berlin, which is 122 feet, so that this computer knows basically to what cabin altitude to depressurize to. Yeah, more modern airplanes like the A320 or also the 777s and so on and so forth, they just take that database straight from the FMS because everything is stored in there. Yeah, but that's what I like about the 737 because it's a bit more old school, it's a bit more hands-on. Alright. So. Okay, let me just do my setup. So we're landing around 26 right, so the minimum is 360 feet over here. That should be right about there. And 240 decision height over here. That's one thing what I really dislike, is that it doesn't have scroll wheel support. I mean, someone coming from Microsoft Flight Simulator, there you can just, you know, just use the scroll wheel. Here you have to click and drag, or click and pull, which can be annoying. There we go, that is set, and the ILS frequency is 110.1. Just gonna go ahead and set that one as well already. And same on the other side. Okay. That is all set. Auto brakes, I'm going to do auto brakes 3 in this case. Because I want to try and get a... Don't want to have to taxi all the way to the end of the runway. Try and see if I can get an earlier exit. And I'm gonna do flaps 30 landing, so it's 130, and what are the winds over there? So it's, yeah, 330 at 3 knots, so wind correction of +5, so that means my V approach is gonna be 135 knots, so yeah, that all checks out. Now let's head back to the cabin. Oh, there's another aircraft right there. And another one back there. Yeah, it's so different flying around an X-plane. I mean, really, I just find it so hard to describe. I mean, like, that is the one simulator platform that I have underestimated for so long. And it's actually kind of funny how I got to X-plane. It's just a friend of mine who's been using X-plane now for a number of years. He's always been constantly nagging me. He said, like, when will we try out X-plane? When will we get X-plane? And I just finally gave in. And he was right. So, you know who you are. Thanks, man. Okay. So let me just continue with my nav setup. So the ILS course is 259er. Go. Blah. There we go. Okay. So, I'm going to start my approach briefing. So, will be ILS approach runway 26 right in Tegel. Final altitude is 3,000 feet. This glass look comes in at Rogab, which is 9.7 dmi of Tegel. Check altitude is 1,540 overhead Gulf Lima. And the minimum is 240 decision height. And in case of misapproach, continue fly heading 259er and then at 4 dmi Tegel, climb to maximum 3,000 feet, then right turn to Lima Whiskey Bravo, then direct to Nassat, and then further climb to 4,000 feet. We're going to be landing with flaps 30, auto brakes 3, and the MSA in the area around Tegel is 2,400 feet. Approach briefing complete. So, okay, time to call up the descent checklist. Okay, descent checklist, recall, checked cabin control, set, auto brake, 3, approach briefing completed, landing data, VREF 130, minimum 240 feet. Descent checklist complete. And I'm just going to do a very nice VNAV descent. So I am going to take us down to, what does that say? Okay, so at Klasdorf I need to be between flight level 120 and 110. No, correction. I need to be below flight level 120. So, okay, I'm just going to select 120 for now, just to give me a rough idea how I'm doing on the vertical profile. And yeah, just let the autopilot do its thing then. So 53 miles. So in about 8 minutes we'll be hitting our top of descent. And for those of you wondering, no, I have not given up Flight Simulator. As a matter of fact, I've also upgraded to P3D in the meantime. So I'm still in the middle of just basically just working out the kinks with that. Once I got that all set up, then I'll also do some flights in P3D. And yeah, so basically from here on out, I'll be basically just switching back and forth between P3D and X-Plane. Now, a few things to mention about this aircraft, though. I mean, it is a lovely aircraft, and I really love it. Thing is that there are a few compatibility issues. I think I may have mentioned that earlier. There are a few compatibility issues with the X-Plane 11 for this thing, because this aircraft was actually designed for X-Plane 10. So there are a few bugs may arise actually every now and then. As a matter of fact, actually this is now the second take on this video which I'm doing. The previous take there was a very weird bug that after I started my engines and I wanted to apply thrust for taxi, my right engine was not responding for whatever reason. I mean, the throttles, they were moving. My right throttle, it was moving, but there was no thrust. I mean, my engine just was not reacting. So I had to cut that video short. And there's also another one which you guys may have heard of, that if you're standing on the ramp and it's very windy, the aircraft just kind of floats around over the ground. So far in Paderborn we were lucky because the winds were just very calm, and also in Berlin they seem to be calm. But in a future video, if they don't issue a like a fix for that bug, you may see the aircraft just kind of like floating around, because there's some weird issue with the friction setting when the aircraft is stationary, that it's like as if it glides around on ice, is the best way I can describe it. Yeah, and also there was another bug where like once you install the 737 out of the box, the APU does not start. You actually have to go into the plane maker and then you just have to activate the APU, which is very interesting. And also another thing which I have not figured out, but that could also be me being silly. I have not figured out how to open up the doors. I mean, like if you take the mouse and you hover to the left, you can see here you got some menu items. Okay, right now it's grayed out because I'm in the air, but here on the ground service thing, oh no, sorry, yeah, on the ground service thing there's like a button for opening the cargo doors. When I do that, nothing happens. Or here when I click on cabin crew, okay, right now I'm in flight, I cannot do anything, but I could tell them to open up all these doors, but when I do that, nothing happens. So I'm not sure if that's just if I'm missing something, or if this is also a legitimate bug. But overall, this aircraft is flyable and it's a ton of fun to fly, I have to say. I can absolutely just recommend this aircraft to anyone. If you're a fan of the 737 Classic, then you have X-Plane, get it. Or even if you don't have X-Plane, get X-Plane and then get this aircraft. I do not regret getting this flight sim platform. And for that I would like to give a shout out to my friend who recommended that to me, or didn't recommend that to me, he actually constantly was nagging me. It's like, when will you finally get X-Plane? Yeah, you know who you are. Thank you very much. I'm enjoying it. Alright, so 25 miles to the top of the descent. I mean, at some point, I guess I'm also going to go on to EVAO and do online flights on X-Plane. Still need to learn how to set that up. And also, another thing that concerns me is that bug which I mentioned about the aircraft floating around on the ramp. That's not gonna be that helpful if I'm standing at the gate trying to do my setup and everything, and then I just float around on the ramp with other aircraft in the vicinity and the air traffic control wondering what the heck I'm doing. So I'll just try and see if I can see if I mean, hopefully they'll release a patch at some point. Okay, so just got an updated weather report for Berlin. So the winds over there, 340 at 2 knots, Cavalcade 16 degrees, dew point 8 degrees, QNH 1023. So, lovely weather. Okay, let me just go down here, put on the data. I would have thought it gives me altitude constraints. Okay, they're here, but they're not on the ND. Oh well. Okay. Turn it off. Whoops. Oh. This is going to be a nice descent into the clouds, actually. I'm going to make sure to get a couple of wing views in. Some more aircraft. Any moment now. And here we go. Master caution, overhead. Yeah, it's because of the duct pressure going down. That's fine. It's all okay. It usually does that. Okay, and yeah, once going idle, engine pressure is again back in the yellow on the right engine. So, I'll have to read into that to see, is that a bug or is that a simulation thing? Is there a way that I can fix that? I'll have to look into that. Okay, let's go back to the cabin. Let's do a nice wing view. Look at that. Well, let's hop back into the cockpit. I kind of need to monitor my descent. And airspeed is a bit high. Okay, this is interesting. So, according to the constraints, I need to be at 120 or below at Klasdorf. I am on path, but it's telling me that I'm going to reach 120 after Klasdorf. So something's not right. Anyway. Let me just extend the speed brakes. Oh, VREF went down 1 knot again, so that means I have a V approach of 134. I am just going to go ahead and move it down to 8,000 and just let it fly on the profile. Okay, speed is back on track, so retract the speed brakes. Nice. Back to the cockpit. So this is the point where it predicts that I'm going to hit flight level 100. Zoom in a little bit. Haha, here we go. Yeah, there's that Berlin Schönefeld, or the new Berlin airport, the one which is highly questionable if that thing is ever going to open in our lifetimes. It's funny because a few years back, Aerosoft, they brought out for Microsoft Flight Simulator, they brought out a scenery for the new Berlin airport, and I just saw no reason to buy it because because that airport isn't even open up. At least the southern side isn't open yet. So I said, okay, I'll only ever buy that scenery by the time they open up, which isn't going to be for a number of years. Oh, so decelerating. Okay, so let me just whack out some speed brakes. Okay, and this goes on, this goes on. Normally they do that when they extend the gear, but just because I'll be so busy managing this aircraft, I'm just going to turn them on already. And continuous. Okay. Yeah, there it is. BEF. Well, at least they have, yeah. At least an X-plane is ready. Yeah. That's the old part of the airport, the northern side, and this is the new part, the southern side. Oh boy, what a joke. Okay, I'm just gonna go down to 5,000. And I am already gonna... So what was it, QNH 1023? So, because that's gonna be put me up higher again. You see, it's, when I do that, I'm now above the path all of a sudden. So now it's trying to capture it again. So... And the same thing on the side. Drag required. Yep, come right up. Oh, drag is already on. Well. Oh well. Nothing we can't handle. Okay, let me just zoom in a bit more. And as this area is flat, no need to put on the terrain map, so I can leave that off. And let's just go back to the wing view. Yep, speed brakes are out. Oh, returning. Oh, let me just monitor my speed. Yeah, speed brake's going back in. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the wing view again. Just enjoy the view. Ah, there's... I think that's Berlin Tempelhof right there, which we're passing over. Well, let me just check it out. Ah, missed it. No, railway lines. More railway lines. Oh, well, let me go back to the cockpit, make sure everything's in order. Oh, so it's slowed down to 220 knots. Okay, and we're slightly above glide, above the descent path. But that is a-okay. FMC drag required. Okay. Let's give it some drag. So we're at Delta 422, okay. 442, sorry. Okay, speaker coming back in. Nope. I disagree with you. Come on, engines. There you go. Let's go back to the cabin. And back to the cockpit. Delta 444, okay, you know what? I think I may just take a shortcut over here. So, vertical speed, speed back to 200. Descend at 1000, yeah, that's about right. And I'm gonna go to heading select mode, and bring her right around there. Yeah, that's that duct pressure warning again. So I need a heading of 290 roughly to intercept. Okay, let me just zoom out a little bit now. Where's Rogue Up? There it is. Yep, that is fine. And Warlock. And flaps 1. Speed 180. And, of course, I forgot one checklist, the approach checklist, altimeters 1023, 3400 now. That occasionally happens. And, okay, just approach mode, second, Okay, it should be coupling the second autopilot. No, it doesn't. Okay. Okay, just make the headings match. 259er. And flaps 5. Yep, there it is. Okay, let's just head back to the cabin real quick. Look at the flaps. What airport is that? I'll have to look that one up. Anyway, just to make sure everything's in order, let me just go back to the cabin, cockpit. Alright, so the glide path will come in at Rogab, which is in about 5 miles. Gotta love the sound of the trim working in the background. And again, engine oil pressure is back in the green again, but it's a weird thing. And I also noticed that then the oil quantity is slightly lower than that one, but still shouldn't be an issue. Glide slope alive. And glide slope capture. Okay, so gear down, flaps 15, and spoilers arm. So what was that? 134 is my final approach speed. And flaps 25. And flaps 30. Okay. Landing checklist. Engine start switches. Continuous. Speed brake. Armed. Green light. Gear. Down 3 green. Flaps. 30 green light. Landing checklist complete. Okay, so now one last cabin view with the flaps extended. Okay, now just hopping back into the cockpit. Alright. Just let it stabilize, and then I will attempt at a manual landing. Hopefully that's going to go well. But then again, still getting used to that aircraft, so please don't judge me too harshly. Checked. Okay, so speed mode deselect. And autopilot off, manual flight. Okay, so the winds are calm. That's good. Continue.
Minimum. 200.
A bit high.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, spoilers deploy. Okay, 80 knots. Okay, manual braking. Okay, and we're gonna vacate to the left. Well, I'd say that landing was quite okay. Okay, so let's vacate here to the left. So after landing items. I'm just going to leave the strobes on for just a second. Okay, make sure that no one is coming. We're fine. Speed it up a bit. Okay, APU on bus. Is there anything else that I forgot? Okay, APU bleed I'm going to leave off for now. Oh, Turkish Airlines A321. I wasn't even aware that there was an A321 in X-plane, although that's probably static aircraft is my guess. Yeah, it's gotta be static aircraft. Oh, there's a Lufthansa A319. No, what is that? A321 as well? Well, I'm gonna park next to the Turkish. Or somewhere thereabouts. So, flight time 52 minutes. Well, let's say that wasn't a bad landing. It certainly had worse. Okay, now I can turn off the strobes because I have cleared all active runways. So now I need to. Yeah, I'm gonna go for stand number. Yeah, for stand number 6. So turn off all the lights. Okay, now where is the... Oh, okay, that's interesting. How do I know how far I need to go? Because usually they got paddles on the sides here that tell me how far I need to go. Oh, well. Whatever, this will do the trick. So, APU is on bus. Okay. Okay, so let me just connect all the ground stuff. So connect the ground power and the air supply. There we go. Now I don't need this anymore, and I don't need that anymore, and I don't need that anymore. Okay, so, and yeah, let's open up the window for some fresh air. Okay, so parking checklist, window and pitot heat. off. Anti-ice, off. Anti-collision lights, off. Engine start switches, off. Landing lights, off. Flaps, up. Lights out. Speed brake, down detent. Engine start levers, cut off. Parking brake, on. Weather radar mode is off. Parking checklist complete. Oh well, let's take a look at the external view real quick. Yep, so here we are. Okay, probably, yeah, taxied a bit too far. Oh, hello there, Scandinavian MD-80. Yeah, taxied a bit too far, but then again, normally they got like an indication system here on the left side that works with a parallax effect, but they didn't model them here. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this flight. I most certainly did. Yeah, I'm sorry again for not making videos all too often. Just had a bit of a hiatus. But yeah, so now basically we've now added X-Plane to the mix, so I'll be basically alternating back and forth between Flight Simulator, or actually P3D, and X-Plane. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, wish you guys many happy landings, take it easy, and see you next time. Take care.